All right, have another ABA Tech Show reaction video. So happy today to be joined by a guest. This is one of the speakers that I really enjoyed, someone who didn't hold back, shared everything. His name is Terrell Turner. Hey, thanks for joining today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
At the ABA Tech Show, I feel like one of the themes this year, and I don't know if you saw this, but was the voice AI. So the winner of the startup pitch contest was a company that did outbound voice AI to help attorneys collect on their bills. Last year, I noticed the same trend. Last year, it was about chatbots. There was a different speaker trying to make it seem really complicated, but it's like, no, I've had one for a couple of years, and I'm not very techy. It's pretty easy. I just went to a place and paid some money, and boom, I got it. So they gave me a code that I give to my web person to plug in, and it's that easy.
I do think that AI is just becoming a lot easier and easier to adopt. I think, that's the amazing thing about like how fast the technology is moving. Because say 3 years ago, you probably needed someone to code, but now AI is advanced enough to where, like I said, you can get AI to write the code to add the AI into your website, and I definitely think that that's a smart move for a lot of people. And, I do think part of the reason I think we're seeing this trend of like last year with the chat bots, this year with voice AI is because, people are trying to find, more efficient ways to get information to the people who are reaching out to, the law firms. Because as you said, I mean, if you have more leads than you can get to, it's just like, okay, all right, how do we give them a self-service way to at least get access to some information until we can get around to hopping on a call with them, or until we can get around to doing a consult? Because I do think AI has opened up the opportunity for legal services to more and more people. Like, more people feel like they have access to get help than they probably have in the past. And when you increase the amount of people who want to access legal support, you're also going to need the tools to kind of help, manage that influx of now people who are wanting to reach out.
Yeah. So a couple of things in there is first, it just helps with communication, like we were talking about, right? It'd be best if there was a human to give them an answer, but I think it's still better, or people would prefer, some help. At least they're getting started and some information.
The volume of people trying to access, legal support
Oh,
or legal services, I
oh
think
yeah.
is going up.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So that was one of my conclusions after the show, is I think there's going to be more demand than ever for attorneys in the future. Because I think there's going to be a lot of people using AI themselves to generate contracts and things. And I feel like it's going to be the same thing with AI. Like, it gives kind of a false sense of confidence. Like, I can do this myself. But again, there's a difference between a lawyer using AI and someone that doesn't know. It's like, if you have the knowledge and use a tool, that's very different than just you have to have the right prompts and the right information. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to lead to more work than ever for attorneys.
I totally agree, because I think with any type of professional field, I mean, if you don't know the right questions to ask, or you don't have kind of like that internal radar that lets you know, hey, I need to ask another like clarifying question to get a better answer. I mean, because it would be like me trying to, type in my all the symptoms that I think I'm feeling, and then to try to diagnose myself, to where if you had a doctor who really understood what was going on, they can dial the diagnosis in a lot more specific, because they'll know certain questions to ask, or they'll know certain things to compare that I don't think that I would on my own. So yeah, I do think a lot of people who are trying to use, let's say, AI as a intermediate lawyer are going to find that, hey, now you need to pay a lawyer to kind of fix some of the gaps that were missed.
Yeah. I would say another trend that I've been seeing. So I've had the AI chatbot for I guess a few years now, but now more and more people are using it. So at the show, I saw where so I've been using the inbound voice AI to back up my team after hours, and I saw there were some companies, including the ones that won that the startup pitch contest, that are doing outbound AI. So I've been thinking about that, thinking about different ways to incorporate it. And we had our meetings this morning, and that's where I discovered kind of the backlog of the leads, and we have other
Mhm.
data, so I know that's true. So um, my team doesn't like AI and tech, which is good. They're a nice kind of balance, you know. They're like, hey, you know, people aren't going to love this, so they're a good pushback. But,
Mhm.
what we decided is that it's better than nothing, right? Because what I've seen, the voice AI I have, a lot of people hate it, but the people that wanna get started, that are truly interested in getting help with estate planning or getting help with the probate, they don't mind talking to it and leaving their information.
I really think about it from, like, say, a data standpoint, and I'm thinking about the workflow of the process. Like, you have some people who just want to get access to information. Now, I can only imagine what you're going to do now that we get to work together.
Exactly. So I feel like more and more people kind of expect that level of technology now, which is kind of tough for
Mhm.
business owners because they're getting those options from their plumber and other places. So they expect the attorney to have those things. So this has been great. I appreciate your time, but let's wrap this up. If an attorney watching this wanted to take one step this week, whether it's getting on video, setting up meeting flow with their bookkeeper, or trying voice AI, where should they get started based upon what you're seeing across your client base?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is if you want to get started with video, the first thing I would do is make a list of the common questions that your past and existing clients ask you. Because I would say that list is the best video list for you to actually go create. Because if these are the common questions you're being asked, by being able to create a video, you've now created something that you know is valuable because people keep asking you the same question. And if you can provide them with answers to those questions, now, of course, you can't give legal counsel in the video, but you can give them enough direction to help them make some of those initial steps. So by the time they get on a call with you, by the time they meet with a lawyer at your firm, like the conversation can be more productive and more fruitful. Now, when it comes down to data, what I would definitely say is you want to start off by figuring out like what is the goal that you're trying to achieve, because I think a lot of times people get overwhelmed by data because they're trying to track everything. And people often ask me this question of like, "Hey, what are the most important data points I should track?" And I'm like, "Well, it depends. What is your goal?" Like if your goal is to, make a lot more money, then I'm going to tell you certain KPIs. If your goal is like, hey, you know what? We don't really want to grow. I just want to kind of maintain and enjoy the lifestyle that I have. Well, then I'm going to tell you a different set of different set of KPIs. So I think the first thing is figure out like what is the goal that matters to you, and don't go look at some other firm and say, hey, I'm just going to copy their goal, because their goal doesn't mean anything to you. Like you really do got to figure out what's the goal that's important to you. And then let's find the KPIs that support your goal. Because if you track those KPIs that support your goal, then you're going to get a lot more value from that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your time today. So where can people follow your work, catch your podcast, and connect with you?
Absolutely. So the easiest place is probably on LinkedIn. If you search for Terrell A. Turner CPA, you'll find me on LinkedIn, or you can check out our website. It's www.tlturnergroup.com. And we put a ton of content there, the podcast, the resources. So you can find us in those two places.
All right, thanks, Terrell.
Absolutely.